Folks, the verdict is in. The Earth loves coronavirus. Not human beings, but the Earth. And I have the astrology to show you why. Yes, folks, it's a great day for the Earth. This is going to be the day that the Earth looks back in celebration. These days now, this late March, early April, and into perpetuity here for the next, who knows, year and a half or so. The Earth is going to look back. The animals, the sky, the rivers are going to be ecstatic. They're going to say, God, remember how hard it was before? And boy, something shifted. What happened around March, April 2020? All of a sudden, the humans stayed home. We could relax. We could breathe a little bit. They weren't driving cars everywhere. They weren't out running around, polluting, firing up the factories, spewing toxic fumes into the air. That was living. Yes, folks, it's real. And of course, the human toll is not good. And I'm not making light. It's a very sad thing that human beings have perished in this, that we have a huge transition that's happening with humanity and with the Earth. But we have to also see the truth here. And it's being shown very clearly by animals, returning. There's been, I saw reports of hundreds, thousands of turtles in India go up on the beach and lay their eggs without fear of humans being there. Usually they can't do that each year. They have to be careful because the humans will, encroach on their land. Humans have just been encroaching on everything. The skies are clear. The Ganges River is running clean. The Ganges has been so polluted. But again, humans are staying home. The factories aren't fired up. And we see this as being shown by all these powerful planets in the Earth signs. In particular, Venus in Taurus. Fantastic transit for the Earth, right? And fantastic time for us to really look and see and appreciate the beauty of nature and the beauty of the Earth and the wonder of a clear sky, clear water. We also have these planets in Capricorn. Saturn is there, exalted Mars is there, Jupiter is there. So all these powerful planets in the Earth signs are really showing a resurgence for the Earth and a time for us to really appreciate the Earth, the nature itself, animals, and to really introspect about what we've been doing to the planet and what this COVID is really showing us about ourself. And we can see with this outbreak, with this virus, it happened when it really came into the forefront around the eclipses. We had the solar eclipse in December 26th in the US, and then 2 weeks later we had the lunar eclipse in Gemini in Ardra Nakshatra. Ardra is ruled by Lord Shiva, also in his form as Pashupati, or the Lord of the Animals. And we're seeing this focus on animals right now. There's a lot of pressure on, especially like meat packing industries and the big agribusiness and slaughterhouses going out of business. Again, this does not take much imagination to realize that the Earth is giving us a wake-up call. I think it's unfortunate that a lot of people, rather than really look at this and legitimize what's going on and look deeply at what the Earth, what Mother Nature is showing us, instead, again, it's not a lot of people, but people are now really going into their paranoia, into their conspiracy theories that it's a hoax and it's been concocted to control us and stuff. It is so obvious, especially when you look astrologically, that this is literally the earth returning to us what we've been putting into it. It's called karma. Karma is a very simple thing. You get back what you put in. And we see this karma now, the powerful resurgence of nature with all these powerful planets in earth signs. Exalted Saturn, exalted Mars, even Jupiter in Capricorn. And this Venus in Taurus, showing the beauty of nature, showing the resurgence of nature. Again, everything on the earth right now is rejoicing in celebration, except humans. Because humans are having to stay home, and we're suffering. We're being challenged to make peace with our own self, with our solitude. We are being challenged to see our habits and how they are out of alignment with nature. And some of the most unnatural things we do are the things that we're not being allowed to do. Some of the most unnatural things we do. And I'm saying natural because this is related to Earth. The most unnatural things we do are devastating to the Earth. Again, not the least of which has to do with our food, and especially animals, and how we treat animals, and big agribusiness all over the world. You know, the main reason for even clear cutting the rainforests, it's not for lumber, it's so we can raise cattle on them and then transport the beef out of the rainforest, off of that land. Again, there's nothing natural about this at all. There's nothing natural about what we do. It's all about money. Hoarding these animals in these places, pumping them full of hormones and drugs to fatten them up, torturing them, dairy cows, hens, pigs, all these animals, and that doesn't include that includes fish and other poultry and birds as well. There's nothing natural about this. It's against natural law. It's against nature. It is a sin and a crime against nature, what we're doing. You simply cannot see it any other way. When we did this to other humans, it was called a Holocaust. And what we do to animals that we eat every day with eyes wide open, saying, yeah, that's what we do. Yeah, there it is. It's an animal holocaust, and it's against nature. It is adharmic. And this is coming back in the form of this invisible contagion that the best thing we can do now is stay home. And again, the earth is rejoicing because of it. I'm not rejoicing, and we're not going to be in this forever. But we have to stop being naive, stop putting the blinders on and saying, "Oh, it's big. It's the plutocracies that are just trying to control us." Listen, the people that are running the world, thems everywhere, they hate this more than we do because they're the ones that are losing all the money. They're the ones that are losing. They certainly didn't plan this. And this is nature. The other things that we do that are so unnatural, again, stadiums full of people where we get in our cars and drive and pollute. Again, look at the things we can't do, these big gatherings. When are we going to get back and play sports again and get in our big stadiums and come together as if there's no consequence to that? There's nothing natural about doing that. And it doesn't happen, again, naturally. We put gasoline in an internal combustion engine. It pollutes the air. We get in it and we move our body across the earth faster than it could normally go. so we can get to some place. Again, of course, I do this too. We all do it. But there's nothing natural about it. It's mechanical. It's man-made. It's human beings and their technology out of alignment with nature. It doesn't mean it has to be. We can create technologies that are sustainable. Look at all the stuff we talk about that we need to be doing, that we should be doing, that anyone with half a brain in their head planning for the next 50 years, 100 years of humanity realizes at some point we need to get off fossil fuels. We need to start living a more sustainable life, a life that's sustainable for this planet. Again, airplanes, flying on airplanes, all of this oil, this petro-fueled life, again, unnatural. And so nature is celebrating, it's rejoicing. And this Venus in Taurus is really a time for us to appreciate the beauty of nature and to see these things and appreciate both the beauty, which is the Venus in Taurus, and rejoice and feel happy for nature. Watch nature rejuvenate and how fast it rejuvenates. It doesn't even take that long. Nature is ready to fix global warming and clear it out. But all those planets in Capricorn as well, that's the consequence part. So we're getting both the beauty, which is the Venus in Taurus, saying, look at how beautiful this world is, these beautiful animals, this beautiful nature, this beautiful water, this beautiful clear sky. Venus in Taurus saying, can you appreciate that beauty? Or are you just narcissistic, worried about yourself? And when you're going to get to go out and play again, oh, we can't go to restaurants. When am I going to be able to go sit in a cafe? Again, I'm not trying to be insensitive, but again, just look at that experience. Try to look a little deeper about what it is. Like, we're so worried that we're not going to get to go out in restaurants. Or if we go to restaurants, it's going to be hard. Well, there'll be more distance, or, maybe we won't be able to hang out in restaurants for months. What is it when we go to a restaurant? And I'll say just a typical restaurant. Okay, we go somewhere. We want to sit in our place. We want to pick something off of a menu and have somebody fix it and bring it to us. That's fine. It's all great. But again, what is it that they're bringing? Most of it, it's all these meat dishes. It was some animal that was tortured, that was butchered. Exotic spices from all around the world are there. They didn't just arrive there. They arrived on planes. They arrived from all over the place. Locally, there's fresh vegetables and all this stuff all this mechanized oil, petroleum-based transportation systems, animals, all this very unnatural scene we get to participate in. And this is just the way of our world that we've gotten used to. We've gotten acclimated to it as if there's no consequences. So again, what we're feeling is the pain of our comfort. Again, I'm drawing the distinction between humans and their level of comfort now and everything else in existence, which is ecstatic. Everything else is relaxing, it's ecstatic, it's clear, it's feeling good, it's feeling relaxed, and we're not. And we can. This isn't to just beat people up or to beat up humanity. I'm a human being. I do it too. But what the real deeper lesson is with this Venus and Taurus is for us to be settled and still and peaceful with the moment, with the world, and develop santosha or contentment with what we have, appreciation for the beauty that we have, for the luxuries that we have. We can still have plenty of luxury. We can still have plenty of comfort. We can still share in the beauty without being so rapacious as a species or as an individual. Maybe we're not thinking of our food choices or our entitlement. Our sense of entitlement as the kings and the sovereigns of this earth, that it's all mine, it's mine. I have the right to do this. My rights, my entitlement. We're so entitled. This is nature showing who is in charge and just what are we entitled to. We're not entitled to anything. Mother Nature just gives and gives and gives, and we take and take, and that's fine. That's the way it's supposed to be. But we don't give back any appreciation. We're not content with what we have. So this Venus and Taurus very much giving that potential and revealing the potential with the rest of nature. Ecstatic. I love seeing it. I love seeing the Ganges running clean. I love seeing the video of the turtles laying the turtles all over this beach in India, where usually it's just flooded with people, where the turtles hardly come up and all their eggs get destroyed. So, and then the consequences of Saturn, Mars, and Jupiter in Capricorn, that's the other part of the Earth. So literally one Earth sign, Capricorn, with Saturn, Mars, and Jupiter, are saying, stay home, stay in your house. This is the consequences of your actions. You're going to stay home, and it's going to be for a while. I've been saying the whole time that this is going to change things, and we're definitely going to be dealing with some version of this for the next couple years. I definitely said at least through next year as Jupiter goes through Capricorn, at least through the early part of next year as Jupiter goes through Capricorn, and Saturn moving its way through Capricorn. This is a paradigm shift. This isn't a one-time thing. This is going to change everything to something more sustainable. How else did you think we were going to do this? How else were we going to change? It was going to have to happen. And it's happening in the most gentle way that the Divine Mother could do it. It's not a war. We're not firing bombs at each other. This is a time for humanity to come together and realize we are in it together. Saturn, Mars, Jupiter, and Capricorn giving us the severity of the lesson, saying stay home, stay in your room, learn to be more comfortable with yourself, and introspect about what you're doing. And realize you only have limited time, limited resource. And you have a duty and a responsibility to this earth and to your own existence and your own identity and your own higher self with this Saturn in Capricorn. And Venus right now, between now and August, is giving us this great opportunity to really appreciate the beauty of nature, the harmony of nature, while we're sequestered. Look at the beauty. Saturn is saying, everybody, you all stay home. Now look at the beauty of the world without you. With you stuck, with you in your room, everyone else is out having a great time. It's kind of like when you were punished as a kid and you had to stay in your room while everybody else got to go out and play. Isn't it? So rather than just feeling sad and depressed about it, realize that it's for a reason. And instead of humanity rushing back into, when can we get back to normal and have stadiums full of people and be in our restaurants and order up our food and be like we were? There's going to be some version of that, but it's going to be different now. There's going to be a lot of adjustments that we have to make. It won't be forever, but it's definitely a new way of doing things. It's going to overturn a lot of hierarchies and a lot of immaturities that human beings have. I've said from the beginning, a lot of this has to do with the way we treat animals, especially food consumption, this unsustainable savagery that we have perpetrated against innocent animals who have done nothing to us. It's not our right to just eat them and torture them this way. It's simply not. And more, people are going to rethink this. Not to mention simply because it might be contaminated, but they'll start eating better food and realize, you know what? This is actually better for me. You know what? This is actually humane. They'll start investigating and realize, you know what? This is one of the biggest causes of global warming, of the pollution, of wasting water. We don't have unlimited water, for example. You know how much water it takes to produce a pound of meat relative to a pound of like rice 20, 30 times. So this is a wake-up call. This is a time for all of us to see this, to breathe a little bit, to appreciate the beauty of nature. Rather than just feeling like you're being punished in your home, appreciate the beauty of nature that you're also a part of. You're a part of nature. You're not separate from it. We've become very disconnected from it. But something happens when we see the beauty of nature, when we get in nature. Something happens to all of us when we see, wow, look at those clear skies. Clear skies in India. They can see the Himalayas. In New Delhi and in other places, and I think it's in Andhra Pradesh, and they can actually see the Himalayas. They can actually, the air is clean. We're not going to forget this. It's not going to just, okay, now let's get back to just rapacious behavior and pollution and all that. There'll be some of it, but if you think that it's the corporate masters, the corporate overlords that have engineered all this, please stop thinking all that. They're the ones that are getting the shaft. More than anything, they are quaking in their boots because we're going to change our oil and gas consumption and other kinds of things. Why do you think they've passed all these stimulus bills and all? Whoa, let's get them money. They want to make sure that all these business systems don't collapse. Now, we have to be very vigilant about all the stuff that's coming. This video isn't about that, but I'm not naive. There's going to be people that are absolutely, businesses are going to try to take advantage of this and profit on it. And, we need to be careful with surveillance state and all of this. Absolutely, of course. But I think what we have to be careful of is, again, running away from the truth that's so obvious to see and running into a conspiracy theory or some big thing. This is very clear that this is nature happening. Even the fact that it's an animal virus interacted that jumped into us, whether it was in a lab or whatever, it still came from bats. Why? And because of our horrific mistreatment, even in mainstream newspapers now, finally we're seeing this. We're going to start talking more and more about healthy food choices and how this stuff is not even healthy. I feel very inspired, and I think you should too. As much as this is difficult, this Venus in Taurus can give us all a great appreciation for stuff we've probably not been appreciating. We've been taking for granted, we've been lazy, we've been entitled, and things are changing, and it's going to be for the better. A better world, not just for us, but for everything on this earth. And it has to change. So, all of these powerful planets in the earth signs, Venus in Taurus showing us the beauty of nature ecstatic for several months, and Saturn in Capricorn saying, yes, now you stay in your room, now, but you get to look out the window and watch everybody else having a great time without you. So it doesn't have to be like that. Find peace and contentment with yourself, with your loved ones, with those around you. Contribute the way you can. Again, watch your mind, watch your dark paranoid fantasies or, dark difficulties. Protect your aura from all of that, reptile people, their agenda and all that stuff. We're going to be very vigilant to that and make sure that stuff doesn't happen. But that's not what this is about. This is clearly about nature. So, have a good one.